Start recording. Good afternoon, class. My name is Angel Cervantes, and today I'm going to be presenting over the artist Felipe Baeza and one of the facets that I think is really interesting and I'm going to try to teach you about today. So, Felipe Baeza was born in Guanajuato, Mexico. He was born and raised there, and it's a big inspiration for many of the facets in his artwork, many of the styles that he uses. They're not particularly from that area, but he incorporates that culture into his paintings and his different pieces, which I think is really cool. He's now based from Brooklyn, New York, and he's been backed by universities such as Yale University and Cooper Union, which is really interesting. So Baeza specializes in capturing the transition between human life and nature, and the correlations between the two. And I think that's going to be the main focus of what I'm going to be trying to teach you today. So here we have two paintings. The first one, the name I cannot pronounce correctly, but I think it's Awewet. And then the one to the right is Avistamiento, which means what you're wearing or apparel. So these works represent the style of Felipe Baeza really well. The one on the left shows a man that's like the top of his torso is showing above ground, and there's a plant growing out of his mouth. So Felipe Baeza clearly demonstrates what appears to be a person wearing a coat of some kind made of leaves. And all these pieces are left up for interpretation. So I think what it correlates to is how all our creations and all the achievements that we've made as people have only been possible because of the gift of human nature, and because of the the complexity of life and the beauty of nature that we're surrounded by. So we owe everything to it, and I think that correlation is very beautiful, and he's very good at making that apparent in his pieces. So in this piece, this is the one that I really want you to focus on, because I think it's a good summary of what I'm trying to get across, and the title is Tú que brutas en la noche. So this piece was done in 2018, and the direct translation about the title is "What do you sprout at night?" So I think the title relates more to a figurative sense. I think it relates to dreams. I may be wrong though. I think what the artist is trying to portray is what happens to us when we sleep. Where do we go when we sleep? Are we happy when we sleep? In our dreams, are we in a positive or a negative place? And what does that say about our life? And this painting really describes how what's within us won't always show on the outside. Of course, in this painting, you won't ever see a plant growing out of a human, or at least you hopefully don't see that. But the plant that's growing outside of this person is black, and it's made in a way that seems really gloomy and dark, and it's in a testament to probably how this person feels. So moving on, some of the elements and principles of this artwork are, as the artist described, he used ink, watercolor, cut paper, egg tempera, and hand embroidery on his panel. So as you can see, the artist clearly uses a lot of line work, and he uses it very strategically, mainly center on the focal point, which I believe is the bottom half torso of the human, and the plant, of course, that is above it. And then he also uses color to emphasize this contrast as well between the background and the foreground, which I believe is like the red, what seems like watercolor that's randomly stained, or at least it appears random. And then the bottom, which is like a blue, a bluish tint with some red over it. The positioning of the torso also describes depth, because as you can see on his right knee, there's like a black shadow. So that lets us, be able to determine be able to determine accurately the position that this person, is in. So I personally really appreciate some of his work. I think that he displays humans in a very crude nature. A lot of artists that I've seen make humans very beautiful, and it's like an ideal version of a human, something very attractive, something very appealing. And I think that's what is really popular amongst art, is to make humans the center, and to show how beautiful we are, But in his paintings, there's like a crudeness to it, as in we're not portrayed as the most beautiful thing. There's the nude pieces aren't very pretty. There's scars on the people, and this one, it appears there's like a really blood red on his body, and it's not very appealing. And I think what the artist is trying to do is he's trying to like remove the cloud that we have around ourselves as human, that protects us from seeing ourselves as just the product of nature. And I think this process that he's going through with his paintings is very cool. And it's something that we should definitely appreciate more, and realize that, we are only products of nature. Here my works cited. So I cited the pictures according to the titles. And I hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions, please message me in the Blackboard message box. My name is Angel Cervantes, and thank you very much for listening to my presentation.